Hal, in this video, we are going to see Java data types. Uh, in previous video, we learned about uh, rules identifiers, and then rules identifiers we have understood. Now, thing is, we are going to focus on Java data types. In Java, generally, that we're having variables. These variables are strongly associated with the data types. Based on the variable value, we can say that variable is belongs to integer data type, integer variable or boolean variable, character variable. Uh, Based on the data type only, we can say that variable is storing which value. So here, before explaining to the data types, let me explain what is variable. Here, variable is nothing but this. Simply, it's a container. It can store some value. For example, let's take an let's take bottle as an example. The bottle is a container, right? What it stores? It stores the water. So here also same way only. Variable is nothing but the container which can store some value. That value might be numerical value or non-numerical value. Numerical value, again, numerical value means 1 2 3 4, right? And then non-numerical means some other values like for example ABC, or else MS Dhoni, that word entire string MS Dhoni, right? Those values are non-numeric values. So in the same way, if you see, based on the value, we can say variable is a integer variable or float variable, character variable, or we can say string variable or boolean variable. So here Java is having primitive data types. So primitive data type means primitive data types are there. Again, these primitive data types are divided into two types: numerical data types and then non-numerical data types. Okay, you can see. I will don't worry about this one. I will try to explain within a diagram. Both okay. If you see entire Java is having primitive data types. This primitive data types is divided two types: numeric data types and then non-numeric data types. Numeric data types again divide into integral data types and then floating point data types. Integral data types means we're having numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? These are integral data types. Floating data type means we're having 10.5, 20.1, 10.0.3. Those are floating point data types. Okay. In integral data types, again we are having four types. One is byte data types, short type, and then int type, and then long type. Here, byte data type means it can store only from it can store values till 127. Max value it can store is 127 only. If you try to store more than 127, right, it will throw compile time error. I will show you that each and every one with practically. Just wait until completing this theory part, then I will move to the practical part. So here see, you can see byte, it can store value from 2 power, it's a cap means 2 power 7 to 2 power 7 minus 1, that means minus 128 to plus 127. It can store maximum positive value is 127. It can't store more than 127. That is the second point and first point. Then it is suitable for reading or writing data to the file. You can see, let me scroll. Let me go here. You can see it is suitable for reading or writing the data into file or network in terms of streams. Generally, when we will go with the best suitable usage of byte is, if you want to read or write the contents into the file or network using streams, then only we should go for the byte. Otherwise we should not use for the byte data type. That is the last point. Then coming to short, it can store the maximum values. If you see, 32,767 only. If you try to store more than that one, right, it will throw a compile time error. So you can see max value it can store 32,767, and it is rarely used data type. Why we are why I am saying this is a rarely used data type means, generally, if we are having if anyone I mean studied EC in BTech, right? They can understand. They are having processor 8086. Even even CSC guys also having the I mean the microservice topics. There we are using processor like 8086 processor there. In that 8086 processor, we have used this short data type, but these 8086 processors are outdated processors. That's and we are no longer using those processor. That's why we are saying short data type also data type. So we don't need to we don't need to bother about this data type, okay, for now. And then come to third one, int data type. This is most widely used data type because this is more, I mean, in Java you can see we are using int data type most frequently, and it max it can store values. You can see, let me go to here. If you go last, let me one second. The max value is, you can see this number it can store. If you try to provide more than this one, right, it will throw compile time error. That part also I will explain you. And then coming to long, generally it is used for storing the bigger integer values. It max it can store this value only. This one it can store this value only, right? If you try to pro, if you want to store more than this value, right, then we should go for the long data type, okay. And sometimes int data, you can see sometimes int data type may not store big values, then we will use long data type. It is declared as long. Here if you see, to denote that data type is a long, right, at the end of the value we need to declare that value as the declare that value with L. You can see this is L. I'm typing again L, okay. Then coming to floating point floating point data types. Here, for in floating point data types, you can see again two types are there. Float is there, double is there. Generally, float means floating point data type means, let me use control N to get new one. Generally, for example, X is there. Let's see, float f equal to something 10.5 is there. uh, After decimal point, if you have decimal point, this is the decimal point, right? Generally, if you don't have decimal point, right, these are integral data types. If it is having decimal point like point here, these are all I mean floating point data types. Here this is the float data type. You can see dot, after 10 dot is there, right? This is a floating point data type. Again we have one more is there, right? This we are having double is there. Double, we can say some d, this is equal to 10 point or else 20.2, okay. Here we need to declare this one at the f to make it as float. Here we need to declare this double as d because by default if you don't specify anything f, right, that's a double value only. So inside for here, if you go here, let me go to my text here. Here inside numerical data types we are having two types. Integral data types are there and floating data point data types are there. Floating point data types are again divided into two types, float and double. It is for representing 4 to 5 digits after decimal point. When we should go for the float data type is after decimal point. If you want to represent 4 to 5, this is the decimal point. After decimal point, if you want to represent 4 to 5 numbers, then we should go for the float. When we should go for the double is after decimal point. If you want to represent 14 to 15 14 to 15 digits, for example like this, 6 7 8 9 10 8 9, again 1 2 3 4 6. How many are there? Count it. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let me add two more. 13, 14, 15. Like this, if you want to add, right, if you want to store this much big number, decimal number inside your D variable, then we should go for the double. So, but if you want to store same thing inside float variable, right, you can't store because float can store only up to 4 decimal points only. Okay, that is the difference. The next one is, if you go here, one second, let me go to my info.text. The next one is non-numeric data types are there. Non-numeric data types again divided to two types. One is Boolean data type, one is character data type. Boolean data type means to to store the logical values. Logical values means true or false. In that case, we will go with the Boolean data type. The next one is char data type. Char data type is nothing but the to store the character data. Character data means A. If you see right inside character data, generally we will place inside single quotes. Like if you see, if you go here, this is the one. You are able to see right my cursor here. This is the A. This A is placed inside single quotes, right? This is the character data type. Let me try to explain this way. It is all the data types in a diagram so that you will get to know. Let me open that one here. You can see we are having primitive data types. These primitive data types are divided two types: numerical data types and non-numeric data types. Again, these numeric data types are divided two types: integral data types and floating point data types. These integral data types are used for storing the numeric, I mean integer values, and floating point data types are used for storing the float values, I mean decimal values. Okay, and then numerical data types are again divided into numerical data types are divided two types. One is Boolean and character. This Boolean are used for storing the represent storing the logical values. Character data types are storing for the character values. And then coming to integral data types, it is divided into four types: byte, short, int, long. This byte is used for um, storing the integer values only, but it can store up to maximum value it can store is 127 only. If you try to store more than 127, right, it will throw compile time error. And then short, this byte is best suitable for if you want to read or write the content from the file or network using the streams, then we should go for the byte. Then short, this short is it can store max, it can the next value used for the storing the integer value is short only, but this is outdated data type because this is used in the processors like 8086, so we are not using this one. Okay, the next one is int. This is most widely used data type in the Java. So if this widely used data type in the Java, and then if you try to store more than that max value for the integer value, right, it will throw compile time error. In that case, we are going with the long data type. This long data type we are representing with L. Okay, that is the long data type. The next one is float. The float is it is used for storing the decimal values. After decimal point, if you want to store 4 to 5 numbers, then you will go with the float. And then double is if you want to give after decimal point, if you want to give 14 to 15 numbers, right, then you will go with the double. Generally, for the float we need to declare that variable as f at the end. But if you for the double, we don't need to mention anything. If you don't mention anything, by default that variable is a double variable. So let me go and let me write a simple Java program to explain byte, short, int, long, and then float, double, boolean, character, so that you will get to know what are all the errors we are going to face. I will show you all those errors in the program, so that even if you even if any interviewer asks you that any question on this data types, right, you will be able to answer those data types clearly. Okay, let me write one simple Java program here. Control N. Let me save it as new or else Java. Let me use data types here, or else I can say data types demo. Click on save, Control S. It will let me cancel this one. Copy this name first. Let me copy this name first. Control C. Click on Control S. Here instead of untitled, right, just remove this one. Use Control V here, data demo. Click on S. It is saved now. So now I just want to write one variable here inside at line number 5th. I want to write some variable like byte. Variable name is some b. Okay, equal to I want to store 127. Okay, if you see this 120, I want to write some comments, that's why I'm using double forward slash. Max value for byte is 127. That 127 I am storing inside b variable, the type byte. So the now the b variable is byte type and it can store 127. So now I want to print this 127 on the console. Simply come here and remove this one. Byte variable b value is, okay, use some space here, then use b. Let me click on Control S for saving this one. Come to your programming location here, wherever it is there, and then this is here. Just come here, click on set, open command prompt here, and then try to execute java c data types data types demo.java. Click on enter. It is compiled successfully and it generated dot class file. Let me try to execute that one. Data types demo.class. You can see byte variable b value is 127. The max, this is 127 is max value the byte variable can store. What will happen? What will happen if I try to store more than 127? Let me show you that one as well. So now this time I want to store 128. This is byte value can store max value up to 127 only. But if I am trying to store here, I am trying to store 128, which is big, which is more than 127, right? Let me see. Now I am expecting, as per my explanation, now at compilation time, it should throw compile time error. Let's see whether it will throw compile time error or not. If it is not throwing right, I am wrong. If it is throwing right, I am right. Let me show you that one is. Click on Control S. Okay, let me go here. Let me execute Java C demo type data types demo.java. Click on enter and see. See, it is showing like types demo.java program is there. At line number 6 it is showing error. That error is saying like incompatible data types, possible loss conversion from into byte. Okay, it is saying like there is a loss of data from into byte, because that means integer value you are storing for byte b. That's why it is giving this compile time error. So now what is the correction for this one? From this you understood like we can't store more than 127 for the byte. This is one thing you understood, right? Byte one. Let me show you short data type as well here. Click on short here. Let's see this short can, what is the max value the short can store you? You can see the max value short data type can store 32,767. 128 will come under this range only, right? So it can store now. Click on and click on Control S and go to command prompt and try to compile this one. Java C data type demo.java. Now let execute that one data type demo.class. It can print it. See, byte variable b. Now it's not a byte, it's a short. Okay, it's a string content only, nothing is there. Let me rerun it, recompile and rerun it. You can see short variable b value is 128. So short is able to print, but byte is not able to print, means byte data type is not able to store 128 because the max value it can store 127. But coming to the short is able to store 128 because the max value the short data type can store is 32,000. Okay, now let me go and use max value for short. The max value it can store 32,767, but instead of 32,767 I will try to store more than that one. Let's see. Let me come here, let me paste that one. This is the max value. I just want to print more than that one, 9. Let's see whether it is able to print or not. Control S. As per my explanation, it should throw compile time error. You can see incompatible types, possible loss conversion from int to short. Okay, it is expecting int here, but you have used short. That's why it is saying like from int to short. You are traveling from int to short, but it is expecting int here. Okay, let me go and remove this one. Instead of short, let me use int variable here. Let me see. Int is able to store because int can store max value is different one. Let's see whether it is able to store or not. Click on Ctrl S. Come here. Let's recompile it. Java, it is able to recompile. Let's rerun it. Int variable BUL is 332,769. Okay, because int max values you can see now. Let me show you here. What is the int max value? You can see the int max value is this one. This is the int max value. Okay, that's why it is able to 32,000 is under this limit only, right? That's why int data type is able to store 32,000 that number. But if you want, if you, for example, if I want to store the max value, right? This is the max value. Let me save and see whether this int variable is able to print this content or not. Let's rerun it, recompile it. It is able to compile, rerun it. You can see int variable values, it is the max value. That's why it is able to print it. But if I try to give more than that one, some 9, let's see whether it is able to print it or not. Click on Ctrl S, come here and compile it. Let's rerun it. Okay, it is something else, some number. Let's see, Ctrl S, click on it. See, int is number too large. Whatever the number is there, right? This number is too large. That's why it is giving compile time error. In this case, we just need to simply remove this int and then use long data type here. And to declare this variable is a long, right? At the end, we need to use L. Then only it will treat that value as long. Otherwise, it will treat that value as int only. Click on Ctrl S and go and see here. It is able to compile, it is able to run it. Okay, this is the int, the byte, short, int, long variables. Okay, but most of the times in our Java programs, coming to data types, we can say int data type for the storing the numerical values. Okay, that is clear, right? The next one is floating point variables. For example, as I told you, floating variables are two types. One is float is there and double is there. Sir, float data types we need to declare like float, float, some variable name, whatever the variable name f, and then declare like 10.5. Okay, to denote this variable is a float, right? We need to use f. Otherwise, that whatever the 10.5 is there, right? The 10.5 behave like double variable. Okay, one more is there. Let me explain this one as well. And then double is there. To declare double variable, we need to use double here, and then some d here, and then use some 20.2, 20.1. At the end, if you see, after 20.1, I did not mention anything f or d. By default, this is a double. Okay, if you want to make that variable as float, then only we need to declare that variable as f. Okay, this you understood, right? Let me copy this sys out one more time, and then entire sys out I will copy and I will try to print those two variables. Control C, Control V, come here and print d here, print f here. This one is a float variable, float. The variable name is f here, and this is a variable name is this is w variable, and the variable name is d. Let me save it, Control S, and then come here. Let's compile this one. It is able to compile. Let's run it. Java data type. You are able to see, right? Float variable f, double variable d. These are the floating point variables. Okay, and then when it comes to the next one is, as per the diagram, we are having next one is non-numeric data types. Non-numeric data types means boolean is there, character is there. Boolean means, if you see, let me go here. Boolean means we need to declare like Boolean. This is one data type. For Boolean, let's give some other name like uh, is true. Then the value is true. Okay, I will write like Boolean is false equal to false. These are the maximum values are two possible values available for the boolean. What is that? True is there, false is there. Okay, and then next one is we're having character data type. Character data type we will declare like char. This is the data type, and we will like name equal to, inside single quotes we need to add that character value like a, that person name is a. Okay, these are the data types. Okay, you understood, right? This is the Boolean data type. Let me add in the comments so that you will get to know. Uh, this is Boolean data types. Below one is character data type. Okay, explanation. So now let me make it. Let me add one more thing here. Control S. Here I want what will happen instead of float. If I want to assign float value to double, what will happen? If I assign boolean value to character, what will happen? Is there any error will be there, or will it compile successfully? I just want to make one attempt on these errors, so that these errors are very important, because if you go to interview, right, they may ask these questions like, if I assign integer value to double, what will happen? If we assign boolean value to character data type, what will happen? If I assign character value to boolean data type, what will happen? Such questions they may ask you in interview. So that I just want to give clarity on those scenarios as well, so that in interviews you will be able to answer those questions. Okay, let me try one example here. For example, I have boolean is there, variable name is something like name. Okay, for this boolean variable I am going to assign some character, so like a, and I am going to print that one like system dot out dot println of, just use like name. Okay, and give some space, and then that name variable boolean variable try to print here. And for now let me comment this one. If I comment this one, right, these variable, this system dot out println will not print on the console, because these will not be executed with the JVM. Okay, let me save, control S, go and see. Here at line number 19 I am trying to print variable name, boolean variable name. That variable name is currently having the value a. Okay, what will happen if I am trying to print here? Okay, let me go and re-execute the recompile it. Java C demo, it should throw compile time error. So some semicolon it is expecting, that is fine. Let me here some dig. See, as I told you, every statement should end with semicolon in Java. That's why it is given compile time error. Let me save it and then go and re-execute this one. You can see. Okay. Again, as I told you in yesterday, right? To concatenate this entire string. What is that one? What happened here? Okay. To concatenate this entire string, right? 1 second. Let me show you that one as well. This is one string. Okay, this is a string. The next one is variable. This name is variable. To append these two variables, two strings, we need to use plus symbol here. Then only it will be JVM will compile. JVM will append these two. Otherwise it will throw compile error. That's why it is showing something is closing parenthesis expected. So now we will not get that error. Let me recompile. Yeah, you can see it is clearly saying like incompatible types, where it is showing inside data types demo.java program at line number 18 there is a error. That error, what is that error? Incompatible types. The types, what is that it's saying? character cannot be converted to boolean. Okay, here this is a, it is giving cap symbol as well. Here there is an error. This is a character type. That type you are storing into boolean, so that's why it is throwing an error. You understood, right? We can't store one type of variable into another type. Here inside colon, so colon, inside single quotes we have placed a. This is a character, single character. This single character cannot store into boolean variable. That's why we are getting this error. So now this is one, right? Now I want to make one more attempt. Instead of a, right, I will make it abc. Click on control S. Let's see, this time I am expecting like, can I'm expecting one more error saying like incompatible types string cannot be converted into boolean, because here in here earlier we passed only a single character. Here we are passing a b c. These are three characters. That means group of characters are nothing but the string. That string we are trying to store inside boolean variable name a, variable name. So that's why I am expecting error. Let's see. Java C data type demo.java. So yeah, the string we need to place inside double quotes. That's why it is saying illegal character. Let's make inside double quotes here. Let's click on Control S and rerun it, re-execute, recompile it. You can see variable name is already defined in the main. You can see string cannot be converted to boolean, because this abc string, that abc we are trying to store in boolean data type. This name variable data type is boolean, but this data type is a string. String variable cannot be stored inside boolean variable. That's why it is giving an error. So to make it successful, right, we need to declare this boolean name variable with string. You see, inside string word s is a capital. Okay, now let's see, this should execute successfully, compile successfully, and execute successfully. What is it saying? Already defined the main method. Where is, I have defined name is already here. Yeah, you can see at line number 16 already I have defined character variable here with the name. But again at line number 18 I am defining with string variable with same name. It's a duplicate. That's why it is giving an error. Just comment this one for now. Click on Control S and then Command C, recompile it. Now execute this one. You got it right? Name equal to abc. Yeah, this is the complete information about the data types. If you guys have any doubt on this one, please mention those doubts in the comment section. I will try to answer your questions. Okay, please do like, share, and subscribe for more encouragement. Thank you so much, guys.